I'm with a definition of consciousness. And what I've been thinking on this morning is defining what I believe consciousness is, unconscious behaviors. And I feel like the definition comes from this idea of wrong and right. And when I meet people, or I am there's a meeting point with people in my life, if somebody is very fixed on what is wrong and right in their world, I guess I judge this as somebody living unconsciously and somebody living in their unconscious patterns, somebody living very attached. The way I like to describe it is that the ego likes to be attached on the thing. This is right. I need to fight for me knowing that I am right. And there's very much a stake in the ground, and any resistance to even being curious or having a discussion around the possibilities with right and wrong. Have you considered this? Have you considered that? And there will be just a fight of proving themselves to be right. And I judge that as somebody living in their unconscious patterns. And I don't know whether that is valid or not valid. It just is a definition that seems to come across in my world. And my definition of consciousness is somebody who has flexibility on right and wrong. That they've still got values, they still know what they're working towards, but you're able to have at least a discussion with this being about what is effective, what is ineffective, what could be right, what could be wrong, what does work, what doesn't work. And they don't have a stake in the ground on, I've learnt this is right, I'm staying with this is right, and any other thing that comes into my consciousness, I will just fight them on it. Because this is what I did, this is what my dad did, this is what society does, this is what people have been doing for hundreds of years, why would you argue with me? Type of, I'm just living in patterns and I won't even consider anything else. Whereas for me, consciousness would be, oh, yeah, I didn't consider this part. Okay, let me look at that. Okay, what about this? Consider that. Have I got a blind spot here? Let me consider your point of view. And it's very much an opening of, oh, where do we put this stake of what's working in the ground? And maybe this works today, and then perhaps we move it and try this working tomorrow. And it's a little bit more experimental with the idea of right and wrong. And that somebody who's willing to experiment with their barometers on right and wrong is, for me, somebody living present moment, somebody living consciously, somebody willing to meet up with these definitions and consider, oh, actually, this isn't quite working. Let me change it to that. And there's more play and more flexibility in the arena of right and wrong. And I don't know if this is helpful, but it sort of hit me this morning that was a really clear definition of types of people, that I went, that's certainly my definition of consciousness, is if somebody's willing to move the walls of right and wrong and consider, get curious about life and about possibilities. And I will struggle with somebody who won't move on right and wrong and is very staked in this is it. I'm unwilling to see any other possibility. Yeah. And it depends what the subject matter is. I kind of wonder if some people would be conscious about certain things, but when it comes to other things, they're very fixed on their right and wrong. And I'm kind of wondering in myself, are there any parts of where I won't move my right and wrong, or is it flexible? It's an interesting thing to to reflect on, right? Anyway, a nice thing for you to be with today if you have come across this video.